morning. Last night was our Facebook Live discussion on Zoom of Element 3. And so what follows is the entire recording of that session. I'm really sorry if you missed out on it. Hopefully this will give you some insight into the element, and to fellow Optavians that are on this journey with you. And hopefully you'll be able to make it to our next live event. I do hope to have other live events that are not Lifebook related. This went really well. I loved having an opportunity to get to speak to several of you and to see you and to make that connection. So enjoy what comes next. Leave me comments in the comments box down below. If you like this idea of these live events, would you please give this video a thumbs up? It really helps me, it helps my channel, and enjoy the live event. Right, it told me it's recording, so hopefully it will be recording. So who else has something to share, like an NSV of the week or a challenge of the week? Take a few minutes to get a few things in.
I did good on my way, and I lost about 2.8 pounds.
Yay.
But I'm struggling with eating in the middle of the night. I think it might be some medicine I'm on or something. Like something I got to work through. I wake up in the middle of the night and what's ever convenient, a bar or.
Yeah.
Because I don't have junk food. I don't have nothing I can't eat that's not on plan.
Can you do an optional snack then instead of doing a fueling? Because that would be less calories, like grab a Jello or, I mean, pickle's probably not the greatest thing in the middle of the night, but
Right.
the nuts or the Jello might be a good thing to grab if you wake up in the middle of the night and you feel like I am going to die if I don't have something. You won't die. I promise you won't die. But I know it feels that way sometimes.
Okay, I'll try that.
See if that helps. Anybody else? No, I'm not here to solve your problems. I just am offering my unsolicited opinions. I'm really good at that.
I just wanted to share that I went and I got my books bound today.
Yes, I'm doing that tomorrow.
Oh my God, it's a huge, huge difference.
Yes.
Where do you take them? Where do you do that?
I had to take, well, I tried Staples and they wouldn't do it for me because they said the books were too thick. So I went to, it's called Minuteman Press. I just Googled, binding whatever near me, and it was $10 each, and it was money well worth spent.
Oh yeah.
Or a FedEx office kind of thing, where
Maybe FedEx, Kinko's.
That's kind of where I went.
Okay.
Yep.
I did go to Staples, and they told me initially that they couldn't do it. Well, I knew that someone else had done it, so I kept pushing and I kept pushing gently and I kept pushing. And lo and behold, they got it done for me.
It would make a tremendous help, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And they switched the cover.
Nice to meet you, Cindy.
Nice to meet you, Elizabeth. I gotta just tell you, and I'm not gonna take up much time. I personally thank you from all my fat to say thank you very much. And what an encouragement you are to give of yourself.
Amen.
Freely to give of yourself. I know you're putting in a lot of time to help people like me, but I really, really appreciate it.
Yes, me too. Very much so.
You are an inspiration, and I have a lot to lose, and to resonate with someone who has done that is just big to me. So, and I appreciate you.
Yes, very much so.
You're always there, and you're always so kind, and you're always so
Patient.
empathetic and patient. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes the world a difference. And I know that I'm going to have my downfalls, but I know by watching you and your motivation that it may be a long time for me, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
You will. And let me tell you, I work customer service, so I'm really good at being diplomatic.
yes, you are.
What you don't see I won't tell you what you don't see sometimes. When I look at some of the questions and I'm like, are you kidding me? But no, and it honestly, I was, and I can't believe that I'm actually able to say this now. I was where you are. And that was just a year ago. And I mean, I'm not at my goal. I still have at least, I mean, I have 15 to my initial big goal. I probably will try to do another 15 after that. So with a total of 165 is what I'm hoping for. But if it's just 150, I'm fine with that. But I can't believe that I'm 15 pounds from.
What a feeling. What a feeling.
It's mind blowing. It's literally
Unbelievable.
mind blowing.
Does it feel like it's been a year? Does it feel like that?
When sometimes it does. Sometimes I get that diet fatigue where I'm just like, can we just be done with this already?
Mhm.
And so I go through cycles like that. But then there are other times that I like occasionally I'll like repost a video that I did from back, like the cracker video. That's like one of the first ones that I did.
Mhm.
I'll post that one. And then I'm like, has it really been that long that I did, that video like 10 months ago? Like, how is that even possible that it's been that long? So sometimes it seems like just yesterday. And then sometimes I realize how long I've been doing it and I'm ready to be done.
Only on day 17, I feel like I've been on for 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, oh, it's only day 17. I write a daily thing.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks or so is probably the most challenging. And once you can get past that, and don't let that be a discouragement to you.
Oh, no.
Like the first 3 or 4 days is really hard. And then it's like the first, like week 3 is usually a real hump week for a lot of people. A lot of people almost stall out on week 3 and they're like, I only lost 0.6 pounds on week 3. What's the matter with me? Nothing. Almost everybody does it. I don't have my list of how much I lost each week with me, but I think probably around week 3 or 4 it was one of those weeks where I lost like 0.6 pounds, and it was just like, please don't do this to me on another diet yet again. Like I don't know that I can do this again, but stick with it.
Oh, yes.
It is truly the best thing that I have ever done. And I can't say enough good things about the program itself. We were talking on the Facebook group, somebody was talking about the coaches, the whole coaching thing. And I'm a coach. I became a coach for one reason, and that was credibility on my YouTube channel. People would say, are you a coach? And I felt if I said no, if I wasn't a coach, and when I wasn't a coach, I don't think people didn't necessarily want to listen to me.
That's smart.
But
I
being
would.
gives that credibility, and that's the only reason why I became a coach. And I became a coach and I didn't have any clients for about 4 months. And that was intentional. I didn't want to have clients. And then one by one, people started messaging me on Facebook saying, are you a coach? I really need a better coach. And every once in a while, I am very careful about my time because I work outside of Optavia. Optavia is not my job. And so I really limit the number of clients that I take because I want to make sure that I'm able to give of myself. During the school year, I teach high school composition, and I typically have about 60 students, and they're turning in essays every week that I have to read. I can't just say, oh, good, you did it, and give it back to them. I literally have to read and mark grammar and on every single one of those, and it takes a lot of time. And so doing phone calls every week
it's just, and I'm not a phone call girl either. So that's always been a struggle for me. So I have taken on a few clients, but I don't a lot most of the time. I think Gail actually talked to me about coaching and I said, sorry. And but I'm happy. What I would much rather do is this is what I would rather do. I would rather sit here with you guys and chit chat and give you some ideas and work through things with you. And it costs you nothing. It costs me nothing. Well, it costs me for my Zoom membership or whatever, but you know, big deal. I would rather coach for free than get any money from anybody to do it. So,
well, you are changing lives just by what you're doing, and I very much appreciate you. So thank you very much.
I'm here for you, girl. So anytime.
I just had a conversation. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I actually had someone who reached out to me yesterday and said, I've got some questions. Can I talk to you tomorrow? And I was like, sure. I thought she was going to chat with me. And so she said, what time would be good? And I said, well, I finish work at 1. She goes, all right. So like at 1:15, my phone rang. And well, my phone is set up so that if you're not in my address book, it'll automatically go to voicemail. Just it keeps the telemarketers at bay. So voicemail popped up and I listened to the voicemail. I was like, oh, she was calling me because my phone number is actually on my Facebook page. Like if you are friends with me on Facebook, my phone number's there. You want to call me? Give me a call. It's not the first time it's happened. If you need something, I am available. And I do it because I love Optavia and it saved my life. Wow. And I believe in it. And so there's that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So we're going to talk about element 3. And as I was working through this, I was trying to go back and forth between Habits of Health and the Life Book and just pulling out some different things to kind of talk about. Mine is not spiral bound yet, but it will be eventually. I live, just FYI, I live in the middle of the woods. Like literally my house is completely surrounded by trees.
Ours is too.
I can't see any neighbors from my house. And it is 20 minutes for me to go to the grocery store. And if I want to go to a Kinko's or Office Depot, it's 45 minutes-ish for me to get there. So I don't get out much. So maybe some Saturday I'll mosey into town and get that done. I live outside of Nashville. So that's another thing. If you ever come to Nashville, let me know. If you ever come to Nashville and you want a place to stay, we have a beautiful 42-foot RV that is our guest suite because we built a 1-bedroom, a huge 1-bedroom, but it's still 1-bedroom. So we put visitors out there and they have their own private little spot, but they're welcome in the house at any time.
Nice.
Eat together but I'm like, seriously, I would love it if somebody
That would be awesome. Yeah. I'm outside of Columbus, Ohio, so not too far away.
I get up to Cincinnati every April. I think it's April that I go up for a homeschool convention. The company that I work for is a homeschool curriculum company. And so I go up and do convention for them in Cincinnati in April every year. So, all right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just start in Habits of Health. If I get the right book, that would be helpful. In Habits of Health, on page 75, if you have it, but I'm just going to read a couple of things. This is the element, the sections 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5 are the ones that kind of go along, I think, with the Life Book based on what he says in there and what is in here. And definitely if you haven't read those sections, I would say, over the next couple of weeks, as you start to work on element 4, kind of go back and read through these if you're at all interested in more of the detail kind of things. But in the very margin of 75, it says, when you try to change in order to get rid of negative feelings or situations, you will slip up once things get a little better. It does not work a long term. So talking about Optavia being a lifestyle and not a diet. If you are going to treat this as a diet, it's never going to, you're going to lose weight. Sure, it's great. You're going to take the weight off. But if you don't take the time to change these habits and really develop new habits in your life, things are going to go back. And then, like, honestly, I can't go back there. I cannot go back there. And I have to do the work. And so reading the book is what is going to help me to get there and help me to learn how to make new habits, because habits, I'm trying to think of where did I write. Habits are things that we have to develop. Habits are more or less permanent things. Now we can change habits and we can develop habits, but habits are those things that we do without thinking, right? They just automatically happen. They are second nature. And so you really have to make a conscious effort to change, and you have to be determined to change that habit or to create a new habit in order to replace those old ones. So that whole habit thing is, he talks about the habit loops, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but it's just really important that you are realizing that you are establishing new habits. When I see people make comments of, you know, when we go back to eating normally, and I'm like, no, like that was not normal. That made you overweight, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds overweight. That's not normal. It shouldn't be normal. And the fact that we think that eating Big Macs and ice cream sundaes, whatever, is normal or should be part of our normal eating is just insane to me. Like it didn't used to be insane to me, but it is now. Like I posted this about my birthday last month. A couple of years ago, I decided that on my birthday, I wanted to have fried chicken every year, and I wanted to try a new fried chicken food. And this was the year that we went to Yellowstone. And so we were driving through not St. Louis, we were driving through, what's on the other side of the state? Kansas City. And there's a restaurant there that's known for their fried chicken. And it was on one of the Food Network shows, which is why we stopped there. So that was my first place. Then last year, we hit a place in Nashville that's also known for their fried chicken, and not hot chicken, but fried chicken. And this year I was like, guess who's not having fried chicken anymore for their birthday? Like, that's just not it anymore. So changing habits is so important. And on page 78 of that same book, it says, it's talking about motivation. Self-motivation is a powerful source of energy that is aligned with both our biology and our deep desire to survive, belong, connect, and make a difference. And then when we look deep inside ourselves and align our desires with our values, we are much more likely to create sustainable results. So we have to make sure that the choices that we make are aligning with our values. What do we really want, right? What is that element two? We know why we want to do this. What is it that we actually want? And when we can align those things up, we're more likely to have those lasting relationships, those lasting habits, whatever they are, that lasting weight loss that we all want. And it's definitely doable. It's just going to take a little bit of effort.
Question.
Yeah.
When you knew you weren't going to have that fried chicken, because that wasn't even an option, did you think about it? Did you crave it, even though you weren't going to have it? Was that, or has that depleted now?
I would say that there are still foods that I am mourning the loss of.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a real good way to put it.
And that is a little bit of a point for me that, I love fried chicken. And I love pizza. I told my son the other day, if I were to cheat with anything, it would be pizza. Man, I love good pizza. Now the cauliflower pizza, I mean, it's great. It's not
Good.
the same, but it does really good. So the fried chicken, I think I'm still mourning the loss of that. I also think that I'm mourning the loss of bread.
Of what?
Bread.
Yeah.
I'm a bread lover, and knowing that it's going to be very few and far between for me to be able to eat bread, because I know for myself those starchy things are my downfall. And I really am going to have to stay on that fruits, vegetables, lean meats, a little bit of grains, maybe. I'm just not a huge grain person. So so maybe my grain will be, a small piece of, multi-grain bread, something that's, very high in fiber and goodness, and not cheap grocery store bread.
Right.
So, maybe that is what it's going to be. I am now starting to plan ahead. I have to start thinking about, because this is just weeks away at this point. That at the rate I'm going, and I still don't know how. After this long, I'm still, basically averaging 2 pounds a week. It doesn't even make sense, but it is. And at this rate, I'm 8 weeks away, which is 2 months from hitting my goal and needing to transition, which terrifies me.
Right. I was wondering.
Another change.
Yeah, it is like I've got this great habit, right? We're talking about habits, and I've developed this great habit.
Yep.
And that habit is going to have to change, and that is a little bit terrifying. But I've got you guys, and we're going to make it through. And I'm going to come up with some awesome videos and recipes just to prove that I can do it, because I'm not. So element number 3, the question is, how do you create what you want? So the first one was, why are you doing this? Second one, what do you want, right? You really have to want it in order for it to work. Now that you know what you want, how do you create that whole world? So, and I love that they kind of did it in steps, and broke down, the first step is basically creating that structural tension. And he does this he only goes through one of those major macro habits, right? But there's 8 of them, 6 of them, 6 of them. There's 6 of those habits, and he only walks through one. And really, I think you almost have to walk through the process with one and kind of live with that for a couple of weeks, and then move on to another one. So he does the weight management, which is why most people are on Optavia in the first place. And then eating and hydration, motion, sleep and energy management, and then mind, and then surroundings. Those are the 6 different macro habits. So he talks about that basically in light of the weight loss or weight management, as he says. So I'm sure that that's probably what most of you have done. Have any of you worked all the way through element 3 yet?
I did.
I have.
Yeah, you have. Okay, Gail.
While ago.
A while ago. All right. You're probably way ahead of me, Lisa. Lisa, how long were you on Optavia, or have you been on Optavia?
For me, 25 weeks.
25 weeks?
Not very long. Not really.
I was thinking you had been on longer than I had, but I guess not.
Wrong, Lisa.
Wrong, Lisa. Just another one. Anyway, working through, even if you haven't read through this and you're not at this point yet, when you get there, definitely you're working to take that first macro habit that you're going to work on, weight loss, And the first thing he has, if you look on page 80, he has it kind of filled out. Over on page 81 is where you fill in the blank. I will tell you that mine is blank because I am right down. It's just in my head, I guess. I'm such a rebel. So you have to start out with your current reality. That is where you are as far as your weight right at this moment. You know, whatever you weigh, he put muffin top, he put his waist circumference because that's what he was going by. I've talked about BMI before. I think that the BMI chart is a load of hooey. Weight is not a one size fits all. And I think that a lot of doctors would agree anyway that it is a general rule of thumb, but whether you're male or female, your age, there are so many other factors other than your height and how old you are. I happen to be, I have a lot of muscle under all of the fat. And so I weigh more than I look like I weigh. And that's just because muscle is heavier than fat. So for me, if I were to be the BMI, I am 5'4". My daughter says I'm 5'3", but I say 5'4". And she also says that I am shorter now than I was. Like as I've lost weight, I've gotten shorter. I like maybe the fat on the bottom of my feet.
On the bottom of your feet.
I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. But for my age and my height, in order to be below the obesity level, I would weigh 145 pounds. I haven't weighed 145 pounds since maybe middle school. Like I just haven't. And I know that because my mom put me on my first diet. God rest her soul. She was a wonderful mother, loved her so much, miss her terribly. She's been gone since 88, so it's been a while, or 87. She put me on my first diet when I was 12. And her goal for me, and was the goal that was always my goal all the way through college, was she said I needed to weigh 145 pounds. I could never get there. It didn't matter what diet I did. It didn't matter how much I exercised. I couldn't get below 150, no matter how hard I tried. So the BMI chart, I say, forget you.
It's 6:30.
Oh.
Sorry, that was my computer talking.
Okay, I thought something.
Killing me the time.
Thank you.
No, it's 7:30.
Depends on where you live. It's like freaked me out. I thought, do I have like a time limit? Maybe that's like the little stop talking, Lizabeth, and let somebody else. But anyway, I don't even care to be 145 pounds. So that's the most you'll ever get out of me about how much I weigh or what my goal weight is, but it's not 145, I'll tell you. So I think you have to have realistic goals.
Right.
And so my desired results is not going to line up with what the doctor says I should weigh. And I'm not going to ask the doctor anyway. So, because I don't really care what they have to say. I just want to be healthy. I want to feel good. I want to be able to put on clothes and go out and see people and do things and not feel like I want to hide. And I'm finally at that place. And I'm just across that threshold, which means I still really want to be into the room before, there's those bat wings. Ugh, that's the worst thing.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful. Seriously, they're beautiful.
It's the
That
worst
should
thing.
be the secret handshake of everybody here.
Right.
Flap,
We can all
flap.
do it. That'll be our code Zoom thing.
I love it.
I just want to be in the room. I don't want to be standing in the doorway. And so that's kind of where my desired result is. So the secondary choices then are the things that you, the steps that you have to make to achieve that desired result. And that is, eating your fuelings, eating your lean and greens. If you listen to me, it is weigh everything, weigh it all. And don't weigh yourself more than once a week. Don't ask me how often I weigh myself though, because I won't tell you. But I might tell you. It's just really important that you follow I can't tell you for sure that I have not plateaued because of the way I follow the program, but I can't imagine any other reason why.
People plateau? I mean, I know people say they haven't lost anything, but did they truly plateau?
I don't know. I'm like, I hear people say, I haven't lost it. I do know a person, a friend of mine who's done Optavia. She is diabetic though. And she should have been doing 4 and 2, but she really wanted to do 5 and 1. And she lost like 25 pounds, but then stopped losing for a couple of months. She was still following the program. I don't know exactly if she was following it Lizabeth style or if she had her own style. But she did not lose any weight for a really long time, like a couple of months. I don't know if that was because she should have been doing 4 and 2. She wasn't getting enough protein, enough fat, which, for a diabetic could very well have been the reason why. But I just know for myself that I do well following the program, doing what it says, and not trying to make accommodations, not trying to see if I can work Laughing Cow, no offense to anybody who uses Laughing Cow, but I can use it with my, rice soup. And I think, and if this is you, please don't be offended. But I don't understand why we can't just eat the soup the way it is and realize you're going to do so much better if you just stick with a plan. But that's me. And I have to remember not to be judgmental. And really honestly, like, you do you, and you do what is going to get you to your goal weight. And I will love you, and I will support you, and I won't mock you to your face.
Behind the back is okay though, right?
No, I try really hard not to. I really do. It's hard when when I know this works, like this absolutely works.
One of my favorite things that you say on your feeds, and you say it very nicely, and you're probably screaming it in your head, but the way you say, just follow the plan, just follow the plan, just follow the plan.
Trust the science. I do say often, I'm not a scientist. I'm an English teacher, not a scientist, not a medical professional. That's just not in my wheelhouse at all. And so I'm going to leave that to the people who are trained to do that. And the people who are trained to develop a program that provides you with the nutrition that you need to support your body while also getting you to the spot where you can burn fat. I'm going to trust that. Because if I start messing with things, I'm afraid I'm going to myself up. So I don't want to.
Then we're all doomed. We're all doomed if you mess with it.
The other day I was on doing something in the admin section, and I scrolled down to the bottom, and my options were leave group or archive group. And I thought, oh boy, would that just drive everybody crazy. I'm not going anywhere. Like, honestly, my coach asked me this morning, because I signed up to be a coach in October, which means in October, I'm going to have to renew my coach agreement. And so she was asking me if I was planning on doing that, if I had reached my goal, because hopefully by that time I will have reached my goal. And I said, yeah, I'm going to do it another year. I've got, a few clients. I want to make sure that I'm there for them. We'll see what happens a year after that. I mean, I'll still be around. I may not be a coach anymore, but although I have a feeling that there's always going to be one crazy people who's going to say, I need a coach. So, and when one rolls off, it inevitably, when one rolls off and says, I'm done, another one rolls right back on. So anyway, so think about your structural tension. Share, what are some of your, does anybody want to share anything about this step for them, their desired results and secondary choices? Anybody have something to share there?
I don't like to talk. I mean, I don't want to, but I put on mine, my current reality is just, it's what it is I'm overweight. I'm unhealthy and I'm overweight. So my secondary choices: follow the plan, no giving in, do the plan, and drink all my water, which is going to result obviously in healthier, more energy, and less weight. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
just
good.
kind of common sense.
Yeah, it seems like common sense.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Mine was
We would be doing it. Yeah.
Who was that?
me, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Mine was eating 6 times a day. Before plan, I was lucky to eat maybe twice a day. First time eating would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep.
This is one reason why I love this plan, though, is because of the 5 fuelings. It's non-brainers. Just have to throw it in that lunchbox, take it to work, and boom, it's right there for you. I measure out my waters. If I'm having the oatmeal, like today I had the oatmeal, and it works for me. I do have a downfall with the cooking and the prep of the LNGs. I call them LNGs, lean and greens. But like I'm trying, like over the weekend, I tried to prep throughout for the week. So it's easy, like on nights like this, coming home from work, I don't have to stress about what I'm going to make and then missing my time slot of the 2 to 3 hours. So far I'm doing really good. And the water, I am hitting almost 100 ounces a day, which is a lot for me. So those right there are my secondary choices. Awesome. Weighing everything too. Your advice, Lizabeth.
Yeah.
Make sure to weigh everything and do everything properly as planned.
Yep. Anyone else? It was good.
I put down for I don't know what my desired weight is going to be. My first goal is to get to Wonderland, to get in under 200. So that's the first goal. And after that, I think I may just go 25-pound increments.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what my desired is.
Right.
Because like you said, the BMI chart is ridiculous. So.
Right. Yeah. I did my whole, everything was in 25-pound increments. And I'm just so crazy private about my weight. When I got to Wonderland, nobody knows when that happened. I know. And I told my coach, I said, yeah, because she wanted to post it on the coaching group Facebook page. And I was like, nope, not going to happen. But it was a big celebration for me that day. And so I am in Wonderland, inching closer toward my goal. Anybody else have something? I was going to say on page 91 in Habits of Health, he was talking about creating habits. So kind of coming back to that before we talk about the habit loop. He said, fundamental choice is what defines our state of being. It's where we stand. It's our choice to be free and healthy. It's what we're willing to fight for. And then he says, fundamental choice means choosing to make this change, not because your husband or wife or healthcare provider wants you to, but because you want to. And, as with anything, you have to want it. You have to want it yourself in order for it to stick, for it to last. And then in the next paragraph, he says, once you make the choice to be healthy, you've made it your business to act in accordance with your goals. So if you really want to be healthy, your actions are going to push you toward that goal. So that's kind of, I think, is really important that we pay attention to that. And then one other thing I wanted to, the top of page 94, at the bottom of the previous page, says, we'll approach each category in detail throughout the book. However, they do share common characteristics. Deep work in both installation and focus. And I underlined and circled the word deep, because it's not just, oh, I'm going to create this new habit, but you really have to dig deep to install that habit deep. It has to be deeply rooted, and you have to stay focused, otherwise it won't last. Usually approached one at a time, requires selective discipline for installation. So it's not just a fly by night, oh, I'm going to do this. You really have to be disciplined. Assess your readiness and motivation in each category. So some of those categories you might not be ready to change, and sleep and energy or healthy movement. For me, healthy movement, that's not something that I'm ready to change right now, because honestly, every time I've tried to do it, my weight loss slows down really slow. And I really just want to lose the weight. So once I get the weight off, then I'll have a little bit more readiness and motivation to work on the healthy movement. Create a halo effect and have an overall influence on physical and mental health. And then specifically engage brain-mind relationship health to create lasting transformation. So it's just, if you want it to last, you really have to dig deep and get your focus in there. The second step then is to create a habit loop. And that's where he talks about there's some sort of a cue, a stimulus that gets you moving. There's a routine or a behavior that could be physical or mental or emotional. I don't know what the difference between mental and emotional is, because isn't emotions mental? I don't know. Not a psychologist, so I don't know. And then there's a reward or a benefit, and that reward or benefit reinforces the behavior. So that's kind of that loop. When you have that cue, the little timer on your phone goes off, the Eat Wise thing says, ooh, you haven't eaten for 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's your cue, right? Your routine then is to go and get your fueling and eat your fueling. Mm-hmm. And then your reward is, my stomach's not growling for 30 minutes. I am proud of myself for making that choice. And that reward, whether it is not feeling hungry or being proud of yourself for sticking to your plan, reinforces your behavior to do the same thing the next time that cue happens. And so having that, setting up that habit loop, and for most of us, that's what it is as far as the weight management is using the EatWise app or alarms on your phone or however you do it. But that cue to remind you to eat, and you need to have it. I can't, talking about not eating until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that was me. I totally get that. I just wasn't hungry. And but now that I am used to, my feeling is at about 6:15 every morning. I'm used to it, and I might still need my app to remind me that it's 6:15 and time to eat that fueling, but I look forward to it. And it's not like, oh, I'm just going to put it off until later, like I would have, a year ago without having that. What do you guys think about habit loops? What are some things that you thought about with that?
Well, I just wanted to say, this is Debbie, just one of the things that we talk about, creating these new habits that are healthier and better for us. For me, I had to actually break habits. And I think that was as hard as creating new ones, because I had gotten many, many bad habits, and habits that I didn't even realize that were just like so natural to me. And then,
Yeah.
you know, trying to go down this normal, healthier path, it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, I got to stop doing this in order to do that.
Right.
So that was some of my struggles that I have had.
So what are some things that you have done to break some of those habits?
Well, a good example would be, you know, after work and preparing dinner, I would have my wine. And, you know, little wine for the sauce, little wine for me. And I never really realized that that was just a habit. That was just like, okay, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I can have a cocktail. And so now it's like catching myself and then saying, and it's hard. I'm telling you, I struggle with it sometimes where it's like, because to me, that was like a reward for working hard, for having a bad day, you know, just because I wanted to be out with friends and socialize. So for me, it was like, okay, I really had to concentrate on that. And, you know, I still struggle with it, but it's like, it's okay now not to have that. What is going to replace that? And I really, this is replacing it. I mean, I never drank so much water in my life. I'm a snob when it comes to water. I will only drink smart water, but I
have dumb water.
Dumb.
I love you. That's awesome.
Love
But,
it.
you know, it's just really everything that I read on the posts and stuff like that. Like some people don't like the taste of things. And to me, the feelings aren't necessarily the problem. It's my brain. It's the mindset of, you know, food has always been a reward. It has always been a compensation for something that has happened. So fuel has been my best friend and my worst enemy. So it's really this mindset. And I'm loving, I didn't get the books when I originally started. And I'm loving that I have them because it really is like, wow, it kind of blows my mind away. Yeah, I'm pretty intelligent person, I think. But it's like when you really start reading about this and when you really start thinking about it, it's like, whoa, what did I do with myself all my life? But it is what it is. I can't go back and change it. I can just look forward to what my future is going to be. And sometimes it's day by day. It's one day at a time. And
Oh, exactly.
you know,
Yeah. I think that's really, and I think also it might be helpful to have a give yourself something to replace that. So instead of just saying, well, I'm not going to drink wine while I'm making dinner, is there something that you can replace that still feels like you are rewarding yourself? And that, for me, that's the hardest thing, honestly, because I'm not motivated by rewards. Because like the whole time I've been on this program, my coach is like, oh, you lost 25 pounds, how are you going to reward yourself? I'm like, I don't like to
That is
shop.
your reward.
So I say this a lot, my love language is words of affirmation. And so my reward is when I do YouTube videos or postings on Facebook, when you guys say, wow, that's really great, or thanks so much, that is my reward. Every single, hands down, every single time. I would much rather have someone tell me I did a good job or spend quality time with people. So again, this is a reward for me. Those are my two love languages. I want to spend time with people. For my birthday, I would much rather have my kids come to the house and let's play games and cook a meal together. Let's just spend time together. That is reward for me. but I know other people are like, oh, I want to get a mani or a pedi, or I want to go shopping. I want to buy a new whatever, get a new tattoo, whatever it is, find something, because we have to break that cycle of food being related to celebrations, rewards. Like food should not be that all the time. It's nice that we have some traditional things, like foods that are traditions. But do we have, like, when we go for a barbecue, like 4th of July barbecue, like, why is it difficult to stay on plan at a barbecue? Like, yeah, everybody's eating, but what difference does it make what you eat? What difference does it make whether you're having grilled chicken and broccoli while everybody else is having potato salad? You're all eating together. It really shouldn't matter. I don't know. I struggle with that because it's not, I am very matter of fact. And so.
Well,
yes.
and the other thing that I noticed in all of this is, like, even just watching TV or commercials, it's like everything is focused around food, especially late night. So I can totally get when, somebody struggles at night because you're sitting there, you're calming down, you're watching your favorite show, excuse me, and then there's like all these commercials. Oh my God, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. Well, I won't tell you that I spend my nights watching YouTube videos of people doing like food reviews.
Oh.
And
I
like,
love the Food Network.
I love the process of cooking and baking. And so I'm always going to cook. I'm always going to bake. I baked a cake for my husband last night. And I'm always going to do that. So,
But don't you find your reward? I find my reward. I am finding my reward. We did a birthday thing this past weekend for my husband and my daughter combined. And it was at another daughter's house. And so I'm excited. And they love getting together as our immediate family, with husbands and fiancés. It's 10 of us, or 10 of us with 2 kids. And somebody said, the daughter who was hosting it, or at her house, she said, okay, Mom, you usually do all the work at your house. I'm going to do most of the work, or I said, no. I said, give me something. So they talked about, okay, Mom, will you bake the cake? Well, what I heard from that, knowing that I'm on Optavia, what I thought, my 4-year-old grandson, get him over here, let him help me make the cake. And he did. And so I took as much enjoyment of letting him do that. Yes, he took the spoon and it was a white bowl, and he was going to make it white again with a little bit of licks, after the batter was out of it. And then everybody wanted homemade ice cream. Well, I haven't made homemade ice cream in a year, but I know how to do it. So I made homemade ice cream, and I said, okay, I'm going to make it. But to the daughter who was having it at her house, I said, Emily, I am going to be accountable to you. I said, I am not going to have any ice cream at your house. Oh, Mom, then don't make it. I don't want you to go to the trouble and make it. I said, no, that will be rewarding to me that I did it for everybody else, but that I didn't have it. Yeah. I will confess, I said, how is this recipe? Because I had asked even on Facebook, how was the recipe? And I took a taste about this, and the size of my pinky, and I licked it. And it was really funny because my first thought was, ooh, was that sweet enough? Because it was just vanilla. And everybody started saying, well, kind of, yeah, well, and I said, okay, well, if I put fruit in it. So they started saying how it could be more sweet. So other than that lick of my fingernail, the size of it, just touching it, it was so rewarding because everybody loved it. And so that was kind of my way of rewarding myself of, okay, I can make this cake. It's a Texas sheet cake. Who doesn't like Texas sheet cake? But I had my grandson, and it was just fun. So, and that's the way I've got to continue to live. I mean, I'm 61. And when I'm 70, I'm not going to be able to eat cake and ice cream like that. So I've got to find some kind of enjoyment. Anyway.
And it's okay to do it. And I think doing it for other people and realizing that that's just how you are loving them, making them fat.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But, you know, it's, I mean, that's how I love people too, is I bake for them, I cook for them, and I may not be able to eat it, and that's okay. It doesn't bother me in the least to make a full meal for people and to sit there and eat my bowl of penne pasta and not get heartburn.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's just like, what is your, if you can get yourself to that place, and that is that reassurance, that reward basically of doing your new, following your new habit, and the reward is I didn't need to touch it, I didn't need to eat it, I was happy knowing that they were happy eating it.
Right. Right.
So,
Also, it's a memory for your grandchildren because you're doing something with them.
Yep.
You know, that's how I take a look at it as well. Even with the chocolate chip cookies or the chocolate pudding or whatever, I knew I was making my grandkids happy, and it's happy memories with grams, but yet rewarding because I never licked that spoon, or the memories with the grandkids. Yeah.
Right.
I can't wait till Taylor's old enough where I can bake with her, because
Oh my goodness, it is so fun.
How old is Taylor?
He is 16 months.
I've got almost a 3, a 4, and a 5-year-old. So
I haven't said this on, but they came over for dinner, not yesterday, but the week before. And Nate, my son, walked in carrying Taylor with a t-shirt that said Big Sister on it.
Oh, sweet.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yay.
Sometime in March,
sweet.
so I'm really excited about that. Grandchild number 2.
that's
My
so
oldest, it's like personal information that has nothing to do with this, but my oldest is gay and lives in Portland, Oregon with her partner. So no chance of children. They have no desire to have children or anything. And my youngest is not, she's got a boyfriend, but she's not married, and they're still figuring life out. So, hopefully one day she'll have grandchildren too, and they won't leave it all up to Nate and Savannah to populate the family, but we're excited.
It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, 7 o'clock. Let's hurry up.
Has to remind me.
All right. So the last one is step 3, right? Yeah, the last one is step 3, and that's identifying the micro habits to install. And we've kind of really talked about that, but I would encourage you to read part 1.5. So parts 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, get to read through those. Those really give you more information about all of these things. And the couple of things that I've highlighted in my life book about this, 3 questions you need to ask as you prepare to install a new habit. Is it appealing? Do I want to do it? Because remember, you really have to want to do it. Is it achievable? Can I actually do it? And is it easily activated? Is there a prompt that reminds me to do it? So is it appealing? Yeah. Do I want to lose weight? Absolutely. That is very appealing to me. Is it achievable? You better believe it. And if you don't think it's achievable, have a little chat with me, because I will tell you how achievable it actually is. And is it easily activated? This program is the easiest program on the planet. It is so easy if you follow it. It is not hard. It's not rocket science, and it is definitely doable. Hang on. My cat is trying to get through the glass door. Some days he's not very smart. So anyway, just, paying attention to any of these habits that you're trying to change, making sure that it's appealing, achievable, and easily activated. He also talks about it takes an average of 66 days to install a new habit. So that's like 2 months that it's not the 21 days or something that Milo, stop. He's doing this on the glass, on the other side of the glass. But 66 days, and he goes through and he talks about how he committed to the habit, the micro habit of chewing his food at least 5 times before swallowing. So he's trying to slow down how quickly he eats. You get more enjoyment, you eat less when you eat slower. And so it's not something that you're going to be able to do in just a few days. And any weight loss program, I think, you have to give it more than 4 weeks. If you bail after 4 weeks, then you're, reevaluate your commitment. I don't know how else to say that, but it really does. Like when I started this, my original was I'm going to do this for a week or for a month, because any other weight loss program I had been on, I'd lose weight the first 2 weeks and then that was it. So I did a month, but after the first week, I was like, well, maybe I'll do it for 3 months. So 3 months was my second commitment. And after probably 6 weeks, I was like, I'm in this for the long haul. So it really is an easy program if you're willing to follow it, if you're willing to trust the science. I say that, trust the program. It really does work, but you have to work on if you want this to be a lifelong change, if you don't want to go back to where you were, then you have to commit to changing your habits, lifelong. So, does anybody have anything else?
I'm re-energized. I can't thank you enough for this.
Oh, you're welcome.
I can't wait for the next one.
Me too. Same here.
I was telling Gail at the very beginning, I think that since I have the YouTube channel and I've got Zoom, if I can upload this to my YouTube channel, and it probably will take 2 days to upload because it's going to be long. I will try to do some other things that are not habits of health, life book kind of stuff. I would like to do, and if you guys have ideas for other things, I would like to do a live menu planning session, just to kind of, because I post that every week. I post my menu every week, but I think it might be helpful to people to see the process that I go through to menu.
And your beautiful handwriting classes.
Yeah, well, I can do essay writing because that's what I teach. So I can teach you all how to write a 5-paragraph essay, how to do a persuasive research paper where you're going to convince me not use my cell phone while I'm driving. And I don't use my cell phone while I'm driving. So I have like a little magnetic thing, and I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving or podcasts, and so it sits there. I don't touch it. I turn it on before I drive, and then it goes. So, but that's it. As I always say, that's all I have for you today.
I just have one question, Lizabeth.
Okay.
How did you manage this program without using a microwave?
Oh, right. Yes.
That blows my mind.
I use before we got the big air fryer, I used the stovetop. So like soups and chili, that kind of stuff, I just cooked on the stovetop. But now, like, I have an electric kettle and thermoses, and I do boiling water in the thermos, seal it up, and that, like, I don't even use my air fryer for any of the savory fuelings or for the oatmeal. I do all of my sweet things either in the oven or in the air fryer. Pancakes, typically I waffle those. Every once in a while I'll do them as pancakes in a skillet, but that doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I don't like the texture of baked goods in the microwave.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I just,
Yep.
I used them when I went on a work trip in October. I mean, I was staying in a hotel. I had to do some of my fuelings in the microwave, and I was like, I'm so glad I don't have a microwave. When we went on took our RV to the beach in April, and the RV had a convection microwave oven over the stove. If you followed that whole saga at all, you know that the slide out didn't go out, so I could barely get between the island and the stove. Like, I literally had this much space. And if I had not lost 100 pounds at that point, I would not have been able to fit in there.
Yeah.
Well, so the convection oven microwave, I was using as a convection oven one night, and this was like the second night, and it died, like completely died. So I don't even have a microwave in the RV. Right now, there's no oven in the RV. That's getting replaced before we go to the beach in October. But yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't had a microwave since we moved in here. I don't have a dishwasher either.
Yeah, we don't have a dishwasher.
Yeah, I just like, I have you've seen my kitchen, and there's no place for a dishwasher, and our electrician made me have a separate circuit for one outlet in the kitchen in case I ever wanted to have a microwave. But so far, we've been here for a little over 3 years, and yeah, no desire. Like, no, we can reheat things in the air fryer or the oven or on the stove. And I was afraid my husband would complain about it, but no, not at all. He's happy without it. So
That's
he
awesome.
just microwave popcorn.
Only thing that I could say that, and maybe this is just a me and you thing, because everybody else might have it figured out, but I was never good in math. I'm not good in math. I didn't do well in math. So my struggles are not just, I know I can go by the book and find the conversion, okay, this much, this is a lean. But like, if I don't know how to do my mind of, if I'm only having 4 ounces of chicken breast, then I can't just automatically say, oh, well, then I'll have this much of whether it's a lean, leaner, or leanest, and know how to incorporate. So there's times, am I eating a piece of chicken and a bite of a pork chop, because I don't know how to do it. Right. And so, does anybody else struggle with that?
Yes.
Yeah, but I just do it. Meaning, I'll say, here's chicken and here's cottage cheese, and this adds up to 7 ounces or 6 ounces.
Or the 3/8. The 3/8,
yeah.
I'd have to go to the grams instead of like 3/8 ounce or whatever. Right. I don't know what the 3/8 is, so I would have to go to the grams to make sure that I'm getting the proper measurement, because I don't know.
And Carol, I have a new scale that Carol was very unhappy with my scale. That
the fractions drove me crazy.
So I can't change the old videos, but when I start, I need to start making videos again. I've kind of taken a lean and green hiatus, first of all, because I've been living out of my freezer, and I was vacation and all that. So when I start doing them again, Carol, for you, I brought a new one that has decimals. So what I would say, all right, 4 ounces of chicken, so it's 6 ounces would be a full lean. 4 ounces is 2/3, right?
Right.
If I've got a third left, I would do an egg, because 3 eggs is a lean.
Right.
So 1 egg would be a third
Right.
of a lean, and I can add the 2/3 and the 1/3, and that makes a whole. But here's
But
the
but
other
when you
thing.
start doing, when you start kind of when you throw in the leanest, leaner kind of thing, or I'm going to add this as a cheese.
If you have more than half, so that 4 ounces of chicken is more than half of that. So you would use the whole healthy fat. Is that what you're thinking about? Like,
Kind of, yeah.
So if it's more than half, use the healthy fat for that. And the other thing is, you can always message me.
Well, I will. I had your bell peppers not long ago, and
But
I had.
if you message me after like 8 o'clock at night, I won't respond to it.
No.
Early to bed, early to rise.
I would never message you, but I will Facebook you. I'll never text you, but I would anyway. But I had your bell peppers and we loved them. And I thought, okay, we ought to be able to do something with these mushrooms that are left. How could I stuff mushrooms? I don't even know how to create that, And so that's just kind of where I want to be like you one day. When I grow up, I want to be like you.
So what I would say when you have extra vegetables, cook them like on their own. So I do this with mushrooms all the time. I'll buy a big container of mushrooms because they'll be like marked down or something. And I only need, a few ounces. The rest of them, mushrooms are super easy. Throw them in a dry nonstick skillet and just on medium heat, just stir them. They'll start to release all their water. And once they've released, once all of that water evaporates, just keep kind of stirring it. They're done. And then throw them in a container and throw them in the freezer. And then when you need mushrooms, pull them out and you're good to go. So I do that all the time with like peppers, with mushrooms. If I do like a big sheet pan of broccoli and we only eat half of it, the rest of it goes in a container and goes in the freezer so that I've got frozen broccoli some night when I, want to just cook some fish and reheat some broccoli, not microwave it.
Right.
I throw it in the to heat it up. But I do that a lot with, I'll cook a large amount. People are like, well, I don't know how much, what if I don't know how much raw chicken is going to make this amount. Just cook it all and then take what you need and put the rest, freeze the rest for later. And then you've already got some cooked chicken for a salad or whatever. So
thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I'm going to stop recording so that this is not like 5 hours long.